stop marching out there. I was cheering you guys on, but I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't think no one should go out there anymore. They up to some real sneaky stuff. Can't talk about it just yet. But look, stay at home, protect your families. That's it. Stay at home. I don't think it matters how much marching and talking we do. He said he was gonna do what he's gonna do, and he's been doing what he wants to do. No one's stopping him, and no one's going to stop him. You know why? Because they want to change. And this man claims he's making a change. He's doing something that none other presidents ever had guts to do. And I'm saying it that way because that's how they look at it. Yeah. See, this man, I think, has lost his marbles. But there's no proof of that yet. But he's doing what he wants to do. And there ain't nothing none of us can do about it. Ain't none of us safe, y'all. Stay at home, protect your families. God bless. And keep in mind that they're monitoring stuff. So please just stay close to your families and protect your families. All right?
As an Asian American, I'm extremely disappointed to see the lack of Asian and Asian American creators speaking out about what's happening with ICE, deportations, and especially in California. As someone that was born and raised and has lived in California my entire life, I have the extreme privilege and sense of safety that comes with being a natural born citizen. I'm also Chinese American, and my grandparents immigrated from their respective countries. On my Japanese side, my grandfather put a lot of time and effort and care into building his own business in Washington. When the internment camps started happening, all of his efforts to help support my family, to give them a happy, healthy, safe life, to give them opportunities, all of those efforts were ultimately disregarded, disrespected, and dehumanized when he was sent to an internment camp. And after the internment camps, he was never given any of that back. He had to work again to build a safe life for my family. The internment camps are a proof of a concept where our Asian communities are not safe. And Trump actually has been targeting Asian communities for deportation, particularly Southeast Asian communities. As Asian Americans, we have a unique perspective on what's going on because our families and our communities have also faced brutalization, have been targeted, we've faced discrimination, we've faced racism, and we know what it's like to be denied opportunity just because of what we look like or where we or our families come from. And if you're like me and you have the privilege to be a natural born citizen, I strongly urge you to use your empathy, your perspective, your experiences in your family, to use your voice to find out how you can support your local communities and keep your eyes and ears open to what's going on. Watch the news, share resources, to understand and educate yourself on what to do if you witness an ICE deportation, if ICE ever comes to your house hoping to deport you or one of your family members, and to not fall victim to bystander effect or letting yourself not say anything because it's the easier thing to do. I hope that this could be a wake-up call for my fellow Asian Americans that you cannot be complicit in what's going on right now. What's happening isn't, even if it's not affecting your direct immediate family, is going to affect your, it is affecting your local communities. I'm not even a content creator, I'm not even a small one, I barely even make content, and I know it can be easy to get worried about saying the right thing, doing the right thing, showing up in the right way. But at this point, all that matters is that you're using your voice in some way and raising awareness of what's going on. This is not a political or legal issue, this is a human issue.
Actually, here, reading the news that there are potentially up to 150,000 Koreans in the U.S. That are vulnerable and potentially a target for deportation. And that includes adoptees. I would very much like on this timeline, but we're going to do what we can to be prepared and to be kind and to not panic, and no matter what, we shall be kind and we shall try to do our best to do everything that is right with the universe. The arc of justice is very, very long.
To all of the East Asian Americans who think that you are oh so different than all these Latino communities that are getting ripped apart by ICE and think that your pale skin is going to protect you somehow, you're being fucking delusional. Like, it's barely been one full lifetime since we've seen something very similar happen to our very own communities in this country. My great-grandparents' house was seized and taken from them by the U.S. government, and they had to live in the sugarcane fields because the U.S. government was detaining legal United States citizens. My great-grandparents were born and raised in the United States, and so were many of their peers, and yet our communities were getting torn apart, our shrines being destroyed by the government, and in the case of Oahu, Hawaii, where 5 generations of my family have been born and raised by now, the island was essentially turned into a militarized state. My great-grandparents never got their house back, and the land that their house used to be on is currently military housing, which is why, as a Japanese American, I look at other East Asian Americans and I just don't understand how you cannot have just a small shred of empathy for these families that are getting ripped apart for no fucking reason. And like I said, my family has been here for 5 generations, and yet I am still scared for my young cousins who are going off to college soon, and they're different. And for the love of God, please, if you're not going to do anything else, at least share resources. It takes like less than 10 seconds to hit repost.
So in this video, we are literally seeing an Asian guy, he's detained by ICE, and then, he's going to be deported. So we are seeing Asians, literally, they're asking fellow Asians, you know what, have sympathy. Don't say, oh, you need to come the right way, because at the end of the day, there are people who did come the right way in America, but unfortunately, they have also been affected through this, detention, because you don't look America. Let me say that. So it doesn't matter whether you went to America the right way or not. This issue is affecting everybody across the board. So it's not just about, say, oh, me, I'm safe. No one is safe. As long as you're in America and this policy is in place, you need to be careful. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to walk around with your papers, ready, just in case if you're stopped, you make sure you have all the papers are correct, so that to avoid such situations, because at the end of the day, when ICE detain you, they don't care. They'll detain you first, then they'll ask questions later. All right? Once you're in the detention center, that's the time they'll ask questions. And if you happen to have issues in your, maybe you have criminal record, even if you have that green card, or even if something high, you're like, you have the proper papers, they will deport you. And there are cases that have happened so far. That's the reason why right now people are very, very careful. For Asians, yes, Asians have pale skin. Asians, they like to operate in white spaces. Asians do not like, to be associated with anything to do with blackness. That's the reason why a majority of them decided, to vote the red state, the Republican, because they are so anti-blackness, and they want to look, anything to do with white, they want to be always associated with that. They always want, to look white, even though they're not white. And as a result of that indoctrination of centuries of where, I must look pale, I must be white, it's in them, it's in their system. And I'm not judging, because at the end of the day, Asians have also faced this discrimination, black people have also faced this discrimination. But at the end of the day, people need to, to ask themselves questions, critical questions. You need to sit down and ask yourself questions like, why did I vote the way I did? What was wrong with me? Because I voted myself out of America. That's the thing which I don't understand. Asians, they voted themselves out of America. Because this current administration, when they came into power, when they were campaigning, they did say, we are going to do mass deportations. We are going to remove illegal immigrants. Yes, that was the story. But at the end of the day, right now, as we speak, we are seeing cases where people have proper papers and yet they're still deported. They're being deported. You see? So it's affecting everybody across the board. And some people, of course, they voted the way they did, thinking, oh, they're only going to take the bad people, the bad people, forgetting that America really looks at you like you're not part of America. They look at you like an outsider. That's what some Asians forget. And majority of Asians, if you look at the statistics, they did vote the Republican way. Some people say, oh, Asians are conservative. Yes, you are conservative. It's part of your culture. But at the end of the day, what I don't understand is how you can vote yourself out of America. How you can vote the way you did, knowing very well it's going to affect your community. It's going to affect your people. It's going to affect families are going to be torn apart. That's one thing which I'm still wrapping my head around it, but somehow it doesn't make sense. But then at the end of the day, I do understand that in a nutshell, Asians do not like to be associated with anything to do with blackness. That's the reason why some of them, they decided to vote the way they did. And that's what they say, FAFO season continue. When you fuck around and make some stupid decisions, then the consequences are going to come and bite you when you least expect. And this is the result. Karma is a bitch. And each and every decision you decide to do, remember there's an equal reaction to the consequences you're facing. And these are the results. These are the consequences. It's painful, yes. Families are being torn apart, yes. Is it affecting communities? Yes. People right now are crying left, right, and center, yes. But at the end of the day, people voted the way they did. So people need to ask themselves those difficult questions. People need to sit down, do their own research, so that the next election, they do not make the same mistakes again.
they do not make the same choices again, so that they protect themselves and their community and their loved ones. Let me know what you think about this video. Drop your comments and subscribe to my channel.